I have the good fortune to say that this location revealed itself as a haunted location to us. Now, I didn't really set out to be a paranormal investigator. Paranormal investigating sort of found me. And what I mean by that is that because of my experiences at this location, it sparked not only the interest that I already had, but it sparked this sense of adventure that I embarked on ever since. I began in May of 1988 to investigate the paranormal. Again, it was no accident because this haunting found me. The construction of Charity Hospital didn't begin until 1858, on the former grounds of City Hospital, which burnt down years before. The stone for the hospital was quarried right there from the island by prison labor. The construction was complete in 1861. Blackwell's Island over the years became Welfare Island in 1921, then later to become Roosevelt Island. The Charity Hospital, or Island Hospital, or as we like to call it, the Ruins, closed in 1957 as it fell into disrepair. The southern tip of the island was going to become South Point Park in 1971, and the building turned into artist housing. This project just never gained ground. The hospital fell in greater disrepair. Many fires took place there. The building was ravaged by not only fire but time. The building itself was destroyed and torn down in 1993. Unfortunately for us, because we can't go back there and investigate the building itself, but the grounds still exist. The southern tip of the island has been turned into a park. The ruins of the smallpox hospital have been saved, and to this day remain as part of the park. This next sequence is called Caught in the Flash. And what we were doing was we were looking into the flash frame from the video, meaning that we were looking at the video frame by frame to see if we could see the actual flash frame of the camera when we were taking a picture. We noticed that we were capturing images as a reflection from the flash of the camera, and we thought if we could go back into the video frame by frame and look at the frames where the flash was, we would maybe be able to see the actual capture of a spirit in 3 dimensions. In the building were a couple of murals. They were mosaics, and in each of the mosaic painted tiles were numbers. On the mural in the stair tower, each mosaic tile painted had the number 5 in it. In the operatory suite, there was a mural with painted 6s in all the mosaic tile parts. Pretty incredible. Somebody obviously went in there and lost it and started painting. The really cool thing about the mural in the operatory suites was that it actually had some kind of image of a hand wrapped around a camera on a tripod taking a picture of an anomaly. So I think there was a lot more to this story than meets the eye. What does a blacksmith and lighting have anything to do with each other? Basically, when you heat a piece of iron, it starts as a piece of black metal. As you heat the iron, it increasingly becomes white. Now, in those ranges are wavelengths of color and also of radiation. These are measured in Kelvin degree. And basically, within that Kelvin degree range are also what are called nanometers, and that's the specific wavelengths of light as they peak through the Kelvin temperature range. So what we're going to do is we're going to explore what Kelvin temperature means, what these wavelengths are associated with, what a black body source is, and what black body radiation is. This all has to do with light and capture, and understanding Kelvin degree and light will help you to better understand some of the ways that lighting can affect adversely and positively paranormal investigations.
Color temperature is how visible light is characterized and is compared to electromagnetic radiation of a specific nanometer range relative to an ideal blackbody source. Warm temperature is closer to the red-yellow range, and cool temperature is stated as being in the blue-white range. Relative to a heated iron blackbody source, conversely, the hotter the metal is as it approaches the blue-white range as relative to thermal energy. Light as a wavelength is also described in more specificity as relative to the nanometer scale, which is equal to a billionth of a meter. Light intensity can also be described in foot candles, which is the light emitted by one candle at 1 foot. The actual arc that the light is spread is the steradian, or solid angle, and the measure of the total amount of light in this arc is also called a lumen, or luminous flux.
This next part is about bit plane photo analysis. What you basically do is you take an original image that you've captured, scan it into your computer, and create a bit plane image out of it. What a bit plane image is a breakdown of a binary bit conversion of the actual digital image as it is, and it doesn't change the image whatsoever. But what you can do is you can make a contrast color comparison of the background and the foreground and all the images within the picture to find out if these images are actually supposed to be there or whether they're anomalous. In this picture, basically, you can see that there was a false color image made from the original picture. The whole picture should look like the background looks. It shouldn't bring up this false color image of an anomaly. But when it does bring up a false color image of an anomaly, that's when you basically know you have something interesting. Because what it does is it breaks down the actual bits of the image per level and converts them to a binary interpretation. You can see in this image, the whole image should look like the background here. This thing over here is an anomaly. It shouldn't be there, but it is. The picture isn't changed, it isn't augmented. It's not like taking an EVP and stretching it and changing the frequencies where then your original data capture has been augmented. That's really not a true capture. If you have to digitally augment anything, you're not dealing with the truth. You're really searching, you're really stretching the truth. If you have a legitimate capture, it'll be plain as day for everyone to see. And there should be very little that you would have to do to scrutinize the image. Basically, you take the original photograph, scan it into your computer, and create a bitplane image. This image will create a false color image where you can adjust the color gamma and the hue of the image in order to bring out and enhance what is anomalous. Basically, in this, the whole image should look like this background here. This is something completely different, and this is why I explore the paranormal.
Photo bitplane analysis of the entity that stopped my camera. The original 35mm image. The image is then scanned and the bitplane adjusted to reveal any anomalies. Depending on how many bits the image is scanned in will allow for more or less binary bitplane conversion. Notice the right-hand side of the image showing the background. The whole image should look like this, so it proves the anomaly is part of the original picture and the depth of field is created via color conversion. This is the bitplane image after the original image is scanned. The color conversion via bitplane enhances the picture without actually changing the original image at all, utilizing the bit binary conversion with contrasting color. Here's the second picture taken right after the first picture. And here's the bitplane of the second image. Now the pictures and bitplane images in succession. Back-to-back comparison really helps to understand the spread of this entity's energy. It's readily apparent in the bitplane analysis as compared to the original picture. Is it real or is it pareidolia?
If I had known this thing was right next to me, I probably would have jumped out of my socks. But we have to be very careful with what we assume is the paranormal and what really is the paranormal.
As I said, if I had known that this thing was right next to me, I would have jumped out of my socks. But this is an example of how malleable our mind is and how it's wired to find the signal in the noise. This is a basic sketch of the demon head over a video frame picture capture. Here's the original image of the demon head as it's seen on the video. Now here's the capture in real time. You'll see how quick it happens, and if you blink you'd miss it. Now this footage is reviewed frame by frame, and we were actually looking at the flash frame to find out if we were capturing any spirits in 3 dimensions. This image on the wall behind me just happened to be there, and we call it the demon head because that's to me what it looks like. It's amazing because if spirits are able to project themselves into our world, is this what we're going to see? Or is this how we see them in the signal and the noise? Now notice the facial expressions change frame by frame. It's very subtle, but it's there. It almost looks like it's smiling and grimacing, but it's almost looking at me proudly, as if to say, I'm here, but you don't know it. But I see you, and you don't see me. Now the odd thing about this is that this is the hallway where my camera failed. We had amazing captures in this hallway also, as you saw in the bitplane analysis. Those pictures were from this hall. By scale, this would make the demon head about 2 or 3 feet in length, which if that's the case, it's certainly not human. And that makes you wonder, what kind of entities are reaching from the other side? This capture may actually be a case of pareidolia, or matrixing. The face is actually caused by random paint chips peeling off the wall. Or do entities have the ability to appear by utilizing their environment? Our mind sees many things in shapes and forms. And if we enhance them just a little bit, maybe we can make or break the understanding of what and how malleable our mind truly is.
This image here was captured within a couple video frames that I didn't even notice upon first review of the video. A friend of mine I was sitting down showing the video to freaked out. He was like, "Oh my God, what is that thing?" So we went back and took a look at it. What was amazing was that in our review of the caught in the flash, or in the review of the flash frames that we were looking at, we did have some frame-by-frame capture of this image. So I went back and I looked at this image again, frame by frame, to find out what was it. Was this thing really a demon? Was there a face that was reaching out from the other side? I mean, if that's the case, my God, this thing was 2 or 3 feet tall, and it was just the head of this thing, so it couldn't possibly be human. But what we realized is, and at least what I realized through my inspection again of the pictures and the images throughout my investigation over the 2.5 years, was that in this particular hallway, and mind you, this particular hallway was where my camera failed the first time when we tried to capture the image down the hallway. So I've already had experiences in this hallway. I've had captures in this hallway, and we've even had where you can see in the background the light coming in from over my shoulder. That's me, and that's the head. The sunlight screamed straight down that hallway. So in the daytime, you could fully see everything that was going on. So what I realized was, through looking back and reviewing over the footage, over the pictures, combing through the hundreds of pictures that we took, it might have been a case of pareidolia. And what that means is there was paint peeling from the walls in that hallway. So the image of this demon head, or alleged demon head, probably wasn't a demon head at all, but was just matrixing, or our mind trying to make sense of an image in the background that looked like a face. Our minds are geared to find faces. That's part of our instinctual survival mechanism, and it's something that our brain is very apt to do and is very quick to do. So when we think we're seeing faces and images, we probably aren't. But wouldn't it be interesting if that's one way that spirits can communicate with us? By taking a physical form out of random information in our background. This is sort of like how ITC communication works, by basically taking random signals and communicating with them. So we really have to be careful here. I'm going to assume that what I've captured was pareidolia, was actually a phenomenon where the peeling paint from the walls looked like a face of a demon. Is it a demon? Probably not. Was the place haunted? I'm pretty sure. But again, my job is to scrutinize these images. Even though this was my case, even though that when I took these images for the first time, I was sure in my heart that I captured pictures of spirits. But in careful review of the pictures, in careful review of the footage, I think I brought myself to have more questions over this investigation than I have actual answers. I figured out ways to do things. I figured out ways not to do things. And basically that's what matters. What it did is it gave me an incredible experience and a basis of comparison. It gave me a location that I could study, that we could use as background, as a primer, as it were, in order to base future investigations on. And that's what I've set out to do in my career as a paranormal investigator and researcher. Because it just doesn't take walking around a location snapping shots with a recorder or with a video camera. It takes research. It takes going back and looking at the history of the location. It takes spending time at the local library. It takes time at city records, mulling over microfiche. It takes time reading the stories to try to find out if other people have had similar experiences as you. Then that way you have comparison base. Don't just assume that you're capturing something in the paranormal. Make sure you do the hard investigative work to find out exactly what you're capturing. A lot of the times, it's something that's completely explainable. Sometimes it's totally extraordinary. And we're going to be meeting over the next couple episodes some experts in the field, some people that I really rely on, some people that I have high respect for, that I really feel are on the cutting edge of what it takes to be a good paranormal investigator. I want to bring their wisdom and expertise to you so you guys can learn just what I've learned. You might be a seasoned investigator, you might have just started paranormal investigation today, but let me tell you, it's an adventure. It's amazing. It's a passion. It's something that once you get that bug, you're in. That's it. There's no turning back. For those of you that have had paranormal experiences like I have, things that have shaken your life at the foundation, then I challenge you to raise up the bar of what you assume is paranormal. I want you to be your own worst critic. I want you to take what you have captured and challenge it to the fullest extent that you possibly can, to bring credibility to your search of the paranormal, to help raise the bar within our community as paranormal researchers and investigators. We have to do the good work. People rely on us. People count on us. And if we give them false information, then we're leading them down the wrong path. We really have to be sure that we're doing the right thing, that we're being true, we're being objective, and we're being honest. Take it easy.
My name is Darren Evans. I'm a paranormal researcher from Tulsa, Oklahoma. You're watching Real Paranormal TV, and I'd like to thank Grayson Smith for inviting me to talk about my research into what I coined the Zozo phenomenon.
Well, to tell you the truth, I've been a paranormal investigator in spite of my religion, not because of it.
And what are some of the consequences for trespassing at locations?
I guess the questions everybody has to ask themselves is it really worth it?
But you get into trouble when you say all. Because see, in the paranormal and in science, there's nothing that's all-inclusive.
Until he died in the late 30s, and then Mrs. Shanley sold it in 44, 45.
Oh,
What?
man. You gotta hear this.
Okay.
Hold on, I'll play it for you.
Yeah.
Alright. Hey, wait. Not. Right there.
Real paranormal television.
Man, we need to mark that down for LT. That's a pretty good catch,
Oh,
dude.
yeah, he's gotta hear that.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, he's gonna hear that. Yeah.
Woo! All right, man.
That's right. That's how we do.
That's
That's how we do.
Dude, weren't we supposed to do something else?
We,
Oh, yeah.
Hey.
Hi, I'm Chuck.
Hi. I'm Jeremy.
Nice. And we're from Plant City Paranormal, and you're watching
Real paranormal television.
Thank you all so much for spending this time out of your busy schedule to explore the possibilities of what lies beyond this thin veil of life. I hope to see you all soon, and thank you so much for watching.
Real Paranormal Television.
Copy that.